Gerone right here again, and through my paranormal experience and encounter, I'm going to bring you another video. In this video, I'm going to be discussing the British flag and the idea behind this their St. George character. Okay, in this video, I'm going to start out with the British flag and what the British flag symbolizes to me when I look at it through my paranormal experience and encounter. Behind the blue that you see back here in the British flag, I see the blue blood of whales and reptilians. Before those creatures' blood is exposed to oxygen, which is ours as well too, it is actually blue. So this is representing the founding blood of our ancestors, the blue. The cross means to me, as I already referenced it to you, with the red and the white, well, I'll tell you what, let's go with this first. These cross lines in the background is meaning to me the cross referencing of land mammals, animals, with sea mammals. And this is with the blood and the semen as it is on the land, and that of the blue, which is in the ocean, which calls for the later likenesses of that of our being, which is mankind. And the cross symbolizes the cross referencing between all of the above, meaning mankind's blood and semen with that of animal kind on land, blood and semen, and then that with the creatures of our oceanic, the ocean elements. Go that route. So it's all three in combination in the cycle of our genes, which ancient rooted royalty and ancient rooted religion always knew. So it's my position that the cross symbolizes the cross referencing of all animal and mankind's beings, genes. That's what this is symbolizing. So to prove my point, or to not to prove, but to self-verify myself, all I have to do is go to what does the British cross stands for, and it goes back to the St. George character. Okay, now a saint. How do you become a saint? Well, through my findings already, I realized that you can only become a saint, meaning that saints is a representation of genetic sacrificers, those that has sacrificed their bodies to the genetic bridging and contamination of themselves and to further the process. You go to St. George. Look at this man. He has a lion eating the scales or the wings of a creature. Those wings are look at the wings of this, of a dragon-like oceanic, this is blue, of a sea-like creature. You see that? So the lion bridged over that sea monster. Okay? There's the lion showing his genes been changed. Now check this out, people. And then there's a green creature down here, which is that of like a serpent, or that of a dragon type on land being slayed. Okay, so these are already, now let's keep in mind that the dragon at the feet being slayed is a symbolization of genes that was already created prior to St. George coming along. So what are these genes that they're talking about? They're talking about ancient rooted genes from which he evolved, which would have been Asian, Egyptian, and African. So he's talking about he genetically slayed those genes through the cocktail from which they created and bridged over through the body of the lion and oceanic creatures, which this creature here is based on, the ancient rooted genes of this creature that they're talking about they utilized. Okay, now, and then it subsequently calls for the genetic altered change of George here. Now he's holding the rod, the staff, from which he did this with, meaning the genes, the pool of genes, the cauldron, the cocktail genes that he used, which is symbolized here in blue and white. In red and white, which is stating blood and semen been altered, and there's the blue, what he used it for. The same thing I just told you here on the cross. Now, You're probably saying, well, Jerome, that's a far stretch. But it doesn't, when you're on point and on track, it doesn't take much to realize that you're on truth here. Here you have a symbol of the cross. I mean, not the cross, the snake, the serpent, turned in on itself with the crown on top of it, which represents mankind, kingship, crossed with, cycled over with the reptilian. And then inside you have all these little crazy little symbols, and no one knows what they mean, except I, through my paranormal experience and encounter, of course. This is representing a cell that was created through this cross-contamination. And these cells are inside of a cell. It's a nucleus, represents a nucleus. And these little different defining things here are little symbols that you would find in the nucleus. Especially what kills me is that little ER thing. Now, probably you beg to differ, say it stands for somebody's initials, this, that, and the third, and this over here. But people, these little things, these little innuendos here, let's look at the model of a cell. This is a cell model here. And that little ER thing is right there. You turn it to the side, that becomes an R, and it becomes that little E, and that little M thing there inside. Look, hold on, right there. You see, these are cells that they're representing, and they done put a twist on it and turned them into symbols. This is a cell created through a cocktail, through a cauldron, and they're showing you intersecting cells with that of mankind and creature kind that they created. And there is no mystery behind it. Even in the, by the way, even in the royal crown, if you look closely, the diamonds, the pyramids, the octagons, all of that stuff, people, the circles, they appear in cell structure. Everything, these diamonds, these pyramids, they appear in cell structures. All you have to do is Google which cells or which cell structures can contain octagons, which ones contain pyramids, which one can, and everything that you see here they done put a spin on it and made their little fashion, their little royal designs out of it. And it is nothing more than a description of cells, cell structures, nucleus. Genes created from genes that came before. This creature here, where you see King George, now, people, we know that this Saint George is not slaying no damn dragon. So what are they talking about? They're talking about exactly what I'm describing to you. Slaying of genes, not of no dragon, but of genes that have came before. The only thing that came before were the genes that were created for that of Asians, which these people came after. Egyptians, which these people came after, and Africans, which these people came after. They're telling you that they slayed those genes, they captured those genes, they have those genes now under control, and they created their own likeness. And look how the lion in the center here seems to have that of human form. Not only did they contaminate themselves, but they contaminated other creatures, and there is a record of it all. My name is Gerone Wright. I'm going to end this video there. The British flag stands for the cross-contamination of the blood and the semen of mankind's being. Not only with just mankind's being, but with animal kind's being, and also with creatures of our ocean being, cross-contaminations that cause for different likenesses. And this is what is describing how mankind dramatically became differed from his ape, his African, his Egyptian, and his Asian state to become Caucasian. And these symbols are not to be taken in vain because they're symbolic and reminiscent of those that which they actually were created or mirrored to reflect. I'm going to end that video there.